Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you're having an amazing day, and welcome back to Be Determined. Today we're going to be talking about attributes and the difference between using the attribute fusion menu and the Anvil. Also, you can see that almost 92% of you aren't subscribed, so if you could help us out with that, it's absolutely free and you can always unsubscribe later. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Today we're going to be talking about how to combine attributes, what attributes are, which are the best ones, and when to use the attribute menu and when to use the Anvil menu. So to start off, I've got quite a few magma rods that I have saved up currently. So I currently have this one, which is the one that I'm using, the stiff magma rod. I have 1 star on it, and it's got quite a few good enchants on it. But the attributes on it are really nice. Double hook 4 and fishing speed 3. Double hook 4 gives a 2% chance to catch 2 sea creatures at once, and fishing speed 3 increases fishing speed by 6%. So those are the ones that I think are the best. There's also infection, which increases the chance of catching corrupted sea creatures by a percentage. But honestly, I think catching corrupted sea creatures is not that good. Sure, they have a chance to drop the corrupted fish. So if you're going for trophies, then it might not be that bad. But for me, I am just focusing on getting fishing levels and what's going to be valuable once I catch all the trophy fish. So after you catch all the trophy fish, double hook and fishing speed are definitely the best ones to get. Now, I haven't caught all the trophy fish, but I'm still going to go for them already, because it takes a ridiculous amount of time to max out a single attribute, much less 2. So you've probably enchanted books and things before. Attributes are very similar to that. You combine 2 tier 1 attributes to make a tier 2 attribute, 2 tier 2s to make a tier 3, and so on. So every single attribute up, it is twice as much. So for a tier 2, it costs 2 tier 1 attributes. For a tier 3, it costs 4 tier 1 attributes. For a tier 4, it costs 8, and so on. It continues to double. So by the time you get up to the max level, which is 10, you need 1024 tier 1 attributes, which is very difficult to get, and it's going to take a very long time, which is why I'm going ahead and starting my grind for it. Now, there's also attributes on Crimson Isle fishing gear. So what I'm going for there right now is just fishing experience, because I'm going to upgrade to some better gear eventually. Once I unlock Thunder, I'll be able to get the Thunder fishing armor, so I'm going ahead and working on only fishing experience on these 2 pieces that I have right now. Now, there are a few different attributes that you can get on different pieces of gear that are specific to that kind of gear. So for fishing rods, we have the double hook and fishing speed, which are the ones that I like. Then there's infection and fisherman. So infection, we already talked about. Fisherman has a 5% chance not to consume any bait, so that's pretty good if you're looking to save some money, but bait honestly isn't that expensive, so when you're only able to choose 2 attributes, fisherman is not that good. Now, another one that you can get is trophy hunter, which increases the chance to catch trophy fish. So that one is good if you're going for trophy fish, but like I said earlier, I'm not really worrying about it right now. I'm worrying more about fishing XP levels. So you can go for that one if you are trophy fishing, but otherwise it's not that useful. So what some people are doing is they're doing 2 different magma rods, so that you'll have one for trophy fishing, and then you can have another one for normal fishing once you've caught all your trophy fish. So putting infection and trophy hunter on one of them is a decent strategy, because getting those corrupted sea creatures has a chance to give you a corrupted fish bait, which are these guys right here. They're actually a trophy fish, which you can get from killing corrupted sea creatures. So that is the usual trophy fishing setup as far as fishing rods go, and then the fishing XP setup is the one that I'm working on. Now, from slug boots, you can get normal armor procs like blazing resistance and mana pool, but you can also get some fishing gear procs like infection, which is also on fishing rods like we just talked about. But the one that I've been focusing on is fishing experience, because like I said, we're not going to have these pieces of armor for that long. We're going to upgrade to thunder pretty quickly, so this will just help us to upgrade to thunder quickly, and also we'll be able to continue to salvage the other pieces that we're getting that don't have fishing experience, so that we can continue to grind our Crimson Essence up. Now, there are a few weapons that have attributes from the Crimson Isle, but to be honest, in the long run, these weapons are not that good. They're pretty much a just salvage and continue grinding type of thing. You've got the Blade of the Volcano right here, and then there's the Sword of Bad Health. So as you can see, the stats on these items are not that great. They're easily replaceable with other items from the mid game, and to be honest, attribute grinding is kind of an end game thing, because you need so many attributes to max something out. So honestly, the swords and weapons you really don't need to worry about. The attributes on those could be really good, but as of right now, the items themselves don't allow them to be good. It doesn't matter if you're dealing 30% more damage to mini bosses if you're only dealing 100 damage to them in the first place. Now, another way to get attributes besides just getting the item, like whenever you craft a magma rod or you catch a sea creature and it drops a piece of armor, is given 2 random attributes. But after you get those base attributes, you can't change them. So that is the important part, is deciding your attributes in the first place. You got to figure out what you want early, because if you go too far forward, you can't change it. Like if, say I have double hook 4 and fishing speed 3 on this magma rod, but then I decide that I want infection 3 instead. It's kind of too late. I'll have to grind up infection 3. I can't just change the fishing speed into infection. So you got to choose what attributes you want early, or you're going to end up very far behind. But another way to get attributes besides these items is through Kudra. You can find attribute shards in Kudra chests, and sometimes they'll be bad, like these guys, Arachno, Undead, or Arachno Resistance. Those are pretty bad, but sometimes you'll get good ones. Blazing Fortune is another attribute that you can get on Sea Creature armor, which is pretty nice to have, but you can also get Breeze. You can pretty much just go through and choose which ones you want. Now, some are going to be more expensive than others, but like Mana Pool, for instance, Mana Pool and Breeze is currently the meta for Crimson and Aurora armor, Terror, things like that. Mostly Aurora armor, because Aurora is a mage setup, but it's also really good for your gear. Your necklaces, cloaks, belts, and gauntlets, you're going to want Mana Pool on pretty much all of those as of right now. Life regeneration is also pretty nice, but Breeze is really good as well. It really just depends on if you're going for a mage or a tank setup, but Mana Pool is always nice to have. You can always use more mana to heal, or to teleport around, or to summon your minions. Whatever you need it for, mana is always going to be good to have. But let's talk about when you should be using the attribute menu. So you can type /attribute menu, and it will pull up the attribute fusion menu. Now I can go ahead and combine my double hook 2 magma rods right here to make a double hook 3 fishing speed 1. But if I were to swap their places, whichever one is on the left is going to be the one that lasts. So you see we always get double hook 3 because we're combining 2 double hook 2s to make the double hook 3. The other attribute is chosen by whichever item is put on the left side. So we have infection 2 on this one, fishing speed 1 on this one, so infection 2 will go through. But if we swap their places so that the fishing speed 1 is on the left, then we'll get the fishing speed 1 on the completed magma rod. So we're going to do that real quick. Now we have a double hook 3 fishing speed 1 magma rod, which is really nice to have. But let's say I craft a magma rod and it has fishing speed 1 on it, and I decide to go ahead and enchant it because I know that I like fishing speed 1 and I don't really care what the other attribute is. So I put caster 5 on it and I'm all happy, and then I realize that it has infection 1 on it. I don't like infection 1. I actually want double hook on it. But then I go over here to fuse it with my double hook 3 fishing rod, and since I want the double hook and fishing speed, I have to put the double hook on the left side, and uh-oh, my enchants are gone. Let's say I put some really high, really expensive enchants on this, and I want to keep those enchants. But if I put it over here, then it is gone. Now you'll notice that the same thing happens when I put my really good magma rod over here, which has a star on it. I lose all the enchants, and I also lose the star. So what do we do in this scenario? Well, honestly, we don't have a ton of options because we didn't pay attention to what we chose. Now you can go over to the Anvil and throw in your starred and enchanted rod on the right, and you'll get the attributes from the one on the left, but you'll lose the star, but you'll keep the enchants. So if the enchants are more valuable to you than the stars, then this is going to be the strategy. But if you want to keep your star, there's really no way to do that and get the attributes that you want if you've already chosen the wrong attributes. Because if I put it in on the right side and I want the attributes on the left side, I'm going to lose the enchants and the star if I go to attribute fusion. And if we do the same thing in the Anvil, I want this star and these enchants with these attributes, then I'm going to lose the star and keep the enchants. So you kind of have to choose on whether you want to keep your star enchants and bad attributes, or get the good attributes and keep your enchants. So that is a really big choice that you should make early. You want to choose which attributes you want early because you will not be able to change them. That is the biggest thing I want to stress to you guys. Choose the attributes you want early before you enchant, before you star, and before you spend money on increasing those attributes. Make sure you've got the ones that you like. Now let's say that I craft a magma rod and I want double hook or fishing speed, preferably both, and I get double hook. That's good. I'll keep that magma rod. Then we'll craft another one. And this time I got fisherman and trophy hunter, which I don't like. Now I've got two options here. I can either go in here and salvage it and get half of my materials back, or I can sell it on the AH for about 150,000 coins, and then I can use some of that money to buy a double hook fishing rod that I actually want. So it will kind of depend on the market on whether or not you keep your items that you craft. For Crimson armor and Aurora armor, the armors from Kudra, if you don't have the attributes you want, then you don't really have to worry about it, because with those armor pieces you can change the attributes. So I have already starred up this armor, which has some really terrible attributes on it, but I can change it over, and I can change it over to any armor piece that I want. So I've got a Terror helmet here with 5 stars and an Ancient Crimson helmet here with 6 stars, and I can fuse them, and the Terror helmet will gain a star, and it will also gain an attribute because both of these pieces have mana pool. So it will gain the stars and it will gain the attributes, but as you can see, it will lose the strong mana 2. This piece doesn't have strong mana 2 enchantment, this one does, so it is going to vary a little bit on what works. But with Kudra armor, it really doesn't matter what you star up. What you enchant does matter, but what you star up does not matter. You can change the stars, you cannot change over the enchants. So if you get an armor piece that you don't like but you can't afford a different armor piece, then you can just stick with that one, start using your Crimson Essence on it, and later when you can afford an armor piece that you do like the attributes on, you can swap it over. But remember, that is only with Kudra armor. That does not work with slug boots and things like that. For instance, if I put these slug boots in here with these ancient crimson boots, it's not going to change anything no matter what side I put anything on. You can only change the stars and things with Kudra armor. With other armor sets, it will not work like that. Alright guys, I hope you did enjoy and learn something. If you made it to the end, leave a comment on what your favorite Kudra armor set is. I appreciate you. Have an amazing day, and God bless.